Well, today's episode, we're going to be reviewing three events. First one's going to be NWA 312 in Chicago. We have almost the entirety of the championships. We have the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, Junior Heavyweight Championship, the Women's Championship, Tag Team titles, and a few others, and also some special matches. We also got, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling with Sakura Genesis, where we have five titles on the line. But the obvious question we always got to ask, will Sonata fulfill his destiny to become IWGP World Heavyweight Champion? We'll just find out. We're also going to be capping it up with the latest events by Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling Spring, the live tour in spring 2023. As you know, there's been some complications. Certain wrestlers are not present due to two of them we know they'll be doing tours in the US, others unable to make it back to Japan. But that doesn't stop the show there. We're also got a couple of news updates to share what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with NWA with 312, one of their latest pay-per-views that took place in Chicago. Now, I want to make a fair warning to everybody here. I don't know what happened. Basically, I was unable to see the last three remaining matches that features the tag team titles, the women's title, and of course the world heavyweight title. But I will reveal who won those matches, despite the fact I did not see them. But let's go from start to finish. We opened up with the NWA National Heavyweight Title, EC3. Strangely enough, we did not see Black G's presence. He takes on, of course, the champion Zion along with his dad, Austin Idol. Now, you probably would have thought that this match was going to be interesting since Austin Idol has been giving a lot of advice to his son, knowing that what to do. But however, EC3, who managed to reinvent himself, was able to overcome what Zion was doing. He put him in a submission. He has no other choice but to tap. Now, I don't know how Austin Idol will take that, but I'm sure that this will go back to the drawing board for Zion to try again at another capacity. Now we do get a little interesting interview. Now May Valentine talked to Father James Mitchell, or as we know him as Sinister Minister. He talked about the events, what took place in the pre-show when he exterminated both Sal the Pal and Gags the Gimp, who refuses to fulfill their obligations to destroy one another. So this will come back to bite him. But however, Sinister Minister is confident enough to believe that Max the Impaler will be the first crown of the NWA World Women's Television Championship, basically destroying Kenzie Page, who is her opponent. Now, speaking of that, let's get to that. But speaking of that, we go to our next title match. We have the NWA Women's World Tag Team titles. We have the previous champions, Pretty in Power, consisted of Roxy and Ella Envy. If you guys remember, they won those championships from the Renegade Twins, but they only held it for 1 week until a championship series was cashed in by Maddie. Misa Kate and her were able to beat them. And this time, it went to that direction. This time, they are ready to regain their titles back. I look at this as a way for Pretty in Power to try to establish themselves as the top women's faction in NWA, and I thought that kind of tells the story with it but in this case, it was the kick fillet by Misakate onto Ella Envy, putting her away to retain the titles. I thought the match was pretty good, and it was fine. Next up, we got Yabo the Clown versus Kratos. I can tell Joe Galli is not a big fan of clowns, but it took Kratos a lot of power to put the clown away. So he tried this move that he calls the K2G. I don't know what that means, but it was a pretty good move to put him away. Next up, we have the a number one contendership for the national heavyweight championship. It's for the Baglushi Memorial, uh, 20-man battle royal. Now there was a lot of people that were there. Like let's see, the Spectaculars, the Fixers. Who else was there? Odison, Thrillbilly Silas. I thought this match was pretty good. I thought it showed a lot of good character, but I had a feeling this was gonna end with Thrillbilly Cyrus because we know that in the past he has been on the hunt for this title, and I think that's something that he wanted to do, and I think it's gonna be interesting. So he picked up the win when he uh, threw away Odison after he tossed him, applied the throw ride, and it was over right from there. Now, our next match we have the finals of the NWA World Women's Television title. We have Kenzie Page versus Max the Impaler. This match was kind of interesting, where it's like Max knows that she's trying to beat someone who is strong and powerful. How do you defeat them? Well, we don't know, but there was a moment in time where Max the Impaler was about to cross the line. Uh, for some odd reason, Samantha Starr shows up, tries to have this match stop, knowing that Max the Impaler was about to cross the line, and then of course Kylie Page, Kenzie's sister, shows up too. But it took only a what was it? A Kenzie cutter onto Max the Impaler on the chair that was in the ring. Ref didn't see it, but it did allow her to become the first ever NWA Women's World Television Champion. So I'm sure Sinister Mister is not going to take this kindly with what transpired. But if I'm Kenzie Page, run! Now, we do get an interview with La Rosa Negra. As you know, she'll be facing Camille, who she goes way back with. So it's kind of interesting how this is going to go down. Uh, our next match we have is, of course, the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title. Joe Alonso versus Kerry Moore. Now, Joe Alonso has been playing games, proclaiming that this will be his title to take it from a guy like Kerry Moore, who we know that Kerry has carried this title and carried it proudly. As you know, his dad used to be the junior heavyweight champion of NWA back in the day. But of course, that sleazeball Jamie Stanley, who helps Joe Alonso, was there. But luckily, Dad was there to help his son. He kicked his ass and sent him till next fall. But however, of course, Joe Alonso did not like that too kindly. But luckily, it was of course the showstopper by Kerry Moore to put away Joe Alonso and end it right there. Now our next match is Bully Ray versus Tom Latimer. This match ended in a disqualification. I did not see it due to the fact that the feed was cut off, but I don't know what's the reason. Now I did mention three title matches that I did not see, that was not broadcast. So here's what we have: the tag team titles. We have Magnum Muscle, consisting of Dak Draper and Nims versus La Rebellion, who was the champions. La Rebellion remained as the tag champions. Then, of course, we have the women's title, La Rosa Negra versus Camille. Camille retained the title as well. And finally, the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. It was Chris Adonis versus Cyrus. Uh, Tyrus remained champion. So I don't know why I did not see the rest, but I don't know. If I get a chance to review this again, I'll do. But for now, let's just end it right here with this one and move on to the next with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Sakura Genesis. I have to say, what a good show. Now, our opening match, this one was a very interesting match. It opened up with some random 6-man tag team match. On the blue corner, we have Toru Yano. Now, Yano had no clue who his tag partners were until his nightmare started crumbling right in his face. The first person that appeared is the Great Khan. Now, he had dealings with Khan in the past. If you guys remember, he tied his ponytail into the guardrail, leaving him right there, and Khan had no other choice but to cut it. Khan hasn't forgotten. But his other partner is someone, of course, who has basically pissed him off a lot more than Khan. And that is, of course, none other than Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki. But as for the opponent team, we have um, Yo teams up with El Desperado, someone who he has faced in the past, and of course, uh, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, this match was kind of a wacky but fun at the same time. Yano doesn't want to tag with Suzuki or Great Khan. Of course, egos were in the mix, but in the end of this match, it was Yano with the low blow, then the schoolboy onto Tanahashi to pick up the win. I don't think Tanahashi, you know, liked the idea, but I'm sure that's like Yano's Yano. That's always been the case. Our next match, we have the House of Torture, Sho, Yujiro, and Evil, along with that idiot Dick Togo, taking on the United Empire, consistent of Francesco Cara, Aaron Henare, and Jeff Cobb. Now, you know for a fact in this type of match that the House of Torture will do whatever it takes to pick up wins and take shortcuts. But Sho was an idiot. He was so dumb. He had to be the one to think he can take on Jeff Cobb. You know, it's like, go to spear school, kid. But however, I was impressed with Jeff Cobb when he had that idiot Dick Togo try to choke him, and then of course he passed on Sho into the. They applied the tour of the islands to pick up the win. However, in the post match, as you know, the Jet Setters, consisting of Kevin Knight and Kushida, issued a challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, consistent being um, held by Catch 2 members of the United Empire, TJP and Francisco Cara. So Cara announced that they accept the challenge, and that he cursed in Italian. So I would be careful what he says, but we'll see what happens then. Our next match, we got the members of Just Five Guys. Doiki, Kanemaru, and Taichi taking on the members of LIJ, consistent of Shingo, Hiromu Takahashi, and Nobushi, and of course Naito. Now, as you know, I don't know if Naito blames Just Five Guys because Sonata chose them. I'm not sure, but I did like the moment where in the commentary section where Kevin Kelly was, as you know, he bought the merchandise from Just Four Guys. So he told me, so in a way, Kevin Kelly asked him to, can I get a refund now that it's Just Five Guys? And he tells him, no, you got to buy the Just Five Guys. So basically, he was like telling him, nope, you have to buy the other shirt. There's no refund. So basically, it's already been closed. But the match itself, I thought it was pretty good. Not to mention, I did like how it was Kanemaru. I feel Kanemaru is stepping up into a new game for himself when he applied the figure four onto Bushi, and Bushi had no other choice to tag out. And once again, uh, the old feud between Taichi and Shingo has reignited. So I thought it was a pretty interesting thing to go. Next up, we got Bullet Club, El Fantasmo, Kenta, and David Finlay taking on the members of Master Wato, God's Hikuleo, and um, Tama Tonga. Uh, as always, we've been seeing like basically Phantasmo not being in the same page as Finley and all this other stuff. But in the end, it was of course uh, Phantasmo picked up the win with the CR2 onto Watto. But however, the feud goes on. It appears that David Finlay has issued a challenge for the never openweight title uh, by Tamatanga, and of course Hikuleo was attacked by Kenta. I don't know if Kenta wants to put his title on the line against Hikuleo, but however, El Phantasmo is not liking what he saw, and then things were getting a lot intense, and then of course Kenta applied the go to sleep to El Phantasmo, turning his back on him, and then of course Taiji Shimura did the same thing. So basically, he's out of Bullet Club. But however, in the post match comments, David Finlay says that he is not surprised, but however, he is telling him don't even bother using the name Bullet Club. Now it's still unclear about that. Um, we just gotta wait and see what Switchblade has in mind. Is he still a member of Bullet Club? Well, we don't know that yet, but we'll see about that. Now, our net later they announced the return of the G1 Climax. I think that's gonna be good. I can't wait to see it. Uh, our first title match, we had the IWGP Women's Championship in a three-way. We got Azuki versus Azumi versus Mercedes. I thought this match was great. I know some people have took criticism with the first title defense that took place with Kairi taking on Tam Nakano, but I know that the match that Mercedes did with Kairi in San Jose was the best. This one was pretty good too. I mean, we were seeing a lot of things, but what I did like is how Mercedes was able to apply the moneymaker on to Azumi and making her land on top of Azuki to pick up the win. However, we now know that Mercedes will be heading to Stardom onto the All Star Dream Queendom, All Star Queendom to take on Mayu Itani, and of course, Mayu was there to give her little words to say. But we'll see what happens then. Our next match, we have the IWGP World Television Title. Um, Shota Umino taking on Zack Sabre Jr. I thought this match was pretty good. I mean, Shota Umino has shown a lot. Uh, he is like the guy who we like to say he is starting to making. I like how he's trying to apply a lot of the technical aspects in this match, like Zack. But however, Zack is the master. He was able to apply a jackknife out of the blue to retain the title. I'm sure we're going to see Shota come around again for another opportunity of this title. Our next match is the IWGP Tag Team titles. Aussie Open, who has been dying to get their hands on these titles for a long time. They take on Bishamon. If you guys remember, it was Bishamon who defeated them at World Tag League. So this is a great opportunity. I thought this was a great match. Not to mention, Kyle Fletcher actually cut himself, and he was able to be the bandage to wound or whatever they did. Continued on until they applied the Coriolis onto Yoshihashi, becoming our brand new IWGP Tag Team Champions. However, in the post match comments in the back, Zack Sabre Jr. congratulated, of course, Aussie Open, but however, he did say that he's issuing a challenge on behalf of his teammates from TMTK. We're talking about Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. However, Jeff Cobb decided to step up the ante, saying, okay, if you're going to put your boys up for the tag titles, how about you put your television title on the line? But of course, like Zack Sabre Jr. is not afraid of anybody because he's not under pressure. I'm not sure if Jeff Cobb understands. You only have 15 minutes to be in this match, so we'll see about that. Our next match we have is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Hiromu Takahashi defending it against Robbie Eagles. Robbie Eagles, as you know, he came back as a member of TMTK. Uh, Many people ask, why did he join TMTK? Well, here's the thing. During the pandemic, no one checked up on him in chaos. Like, nobody gave him a call, hey, let's go out have a dinner or anything. The only person that ever did that for him was Zack Sabre Jr., so he was being kind enough. But many people probably often thought, would he be better off with United Empire since he was close with Will Ospreay? Yeah, he even mentioned on an interview that, of course, that TJP was speaking on behalf of Will Ospreay, but to Robbie, he felt that he'd rather hear this from Ospreay himself. But that's how it is. But he felt that that he burned him, and the reason they picked another UK a UK junior to take his place. And of course, that's Dan Maloney. But the match itself was good. However, it was not enough for Robbie Eagles to defeat Herman when he applied the time bomb and retain the title. Now, our next match we have is the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Sonata, once again, in the face to face with Okada. Now, these two have faced each other in the past before. At that time, it was Okada who walked out, but now with Okada, who is now shining even better since he left um, LIJ. The obvious question did remain: how would Naito felt if Sonata did win this title? We don't know how he feel, but we know that Sonata had his own opinions why he did it, why he left. He feels like even if he wins, it's still Naito's name on it. So he felt like this is his name. But the match was pretty good. You probably thought, but there was like good moments where Sonata was trying to apply the move that he's been using, the deadfall. It took him a while until he finally got the moment. Deadfall, he picked up the win, becoming our brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. However, while his promo was going on, here comes Hiromu, who congratulated him, and he wants a shot of the title. But however, Sonata thought, well, if you want to get a piece of me, you got to go through Kanemaru. So I don't think Kanemaru has ever had an opportunity for the junior heavyweight title like he would have wanted. I know he's been junior heavyweight tag team champion with Despy, but that's practically it. And I can't wait to see how that's going to go down. So I think that's pretty much it with New Japan. I believe it's time for our final review, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Okay, we continue with more of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with live tour in spring 2023. Just to keep it fair, Miyu Yamashita's not involved, neither is Maki Ito since they remain in the US or going on different promotions from what I can tell. Raku wasn't even present there, and I'm trying to remember who else wasn't present there. As you know, some of these girls went to the US and they were unable to come back. Um, the Up girls did their show without Raku, this being despite the fact that she wasn't there. So hopefully she's okay to make it back. Um, our opening match we have Shino versus her Up girls um, mate Hikari Noah. I thought this match was pretty decent. I know Shino is still on the learning curve, trying to learn a little bit, but she did pretty good. But it was Hikari Noah with a I don't know exactly what kind of move she applied, but she was able to use that and then go with the pinfall. One, two, three, it was over. Next up, we have a six women tag team match. We have some of the new girls like Runa Okubo, Maru um, Kazushiro, and of course Arisu Indu, who is much of the experienced wrestler, takes on Toga, Wakana Urihara, and of course Mahiro Kiru. As always, seeing some of these girls learning from a senior, like of course, like Mahiro and Arisu did help, but in the end, it was of course Arisu Indo with the camel clutch onto Wakana and forcing her to tap out, to giving them the win. I have to say that um, it is a good learning curve for some of these girls to learn from Arisu Indo and Mahiro, but we'll see what happens then. Next up, we got Hiwa, um, Himawari taking on Suzumi. I thought this match was pretty good. I know Himawari, who came from At-Risk Girls, is really learning a lot, but Suzumi is the much bigger star here. Uh, she was able to apply the Ring of Bell cutter on her to pick up the win, so it was good. That's how it is. Next up, we got Haruna Neko taking on Yuki Kamifuku. The resident cat tried to play a little bit of her dirty tact, a little bit of her tricks, but it did not stop the long leg beauty like Yuki Kamifuku until she applied a brainbuster and it was done. Just like that. Next up, we got Kaya Toribami teaming up with Big Kaiju Shoko Nakajima. They take on Dreamcatcher Miyu Watanabe, and of course the current International Princess Champion Rika Tatsumi. I thought this match was pretty good. There was some good moments in this one. You probably would have thought that Shoko Nakajima would have walked out as the victor since she has more experience, but no, the great teamwork between both Rika and Miyu came in handy onto Kaya Toribami to pick up the win. Next up, we got Palm Harijuku teaming up with Nao Kakuta. They take on Moka Miyamoto and Mizuki. Now, keep in mind, there was a contract signing between Naokakuta and Mizuki for the Princess of Princess Championship. This was a great preview to show. However, it was Naokakuta who picked up the win with a backpack stunner onto Moka Miyamoto. Was it Moka? On Moka Miyamoto to give the win. So I thought, interesting way. So hopefully we'll see what happens when they come across each other. So I think that's pretty much it with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. So let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. Here's what we have. For all you Nick Wayne fans out there, you may have heard the news. Nick Wayne will be making his AEW debut on July 12th on Dynamite. We know that Nick Wayne signed a contract with AEW, but however, he was still not ready to be making his appearance, so it's finally time where his shine. I'm sure he's probably going to graduate high school real soon, but yeah. Uh, there was one thing I failed to mention recently on the New Japan stuff. After the match, during the post-match comments, Ren Narita is fixating and trying to defeat Okada, so he gave him a challenge for the Never Openweight six-man tag team title. So it's going to be him, Minoru Suzuki, and Despy with two partners of his choosing. So we'll see who will be his partners. Woman World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana has announced that Stardom talent Saya Ida will be making her presence on the upcoming show on later on this month on the 21st of April feature site. Now keep in mind this is the second Stardom talent to make her appearance there. The first one was of course Yu Amasuki, so can't wait to see that. Uh, New Japan has announced for their event in Philly that takes place on the 16th later this month. Eddie Kingston has been pulled out from this event due to an injury. He was supposed to face Gabriel Kidd, but however, they found a suitable replacement, and that replacement is none other than whenever, of course, Orange Cassidy. And the best part is, he said that he's willing to put the AEW International title on the line. So that's going to be good. Now, as you know, with the merger between with Endeavor with UFC and WWE, Dana White had certain things he gave comments about. This is what he had to say. Let me pull it up real quick. This is what he had to say. Dana White says the UFC is completely open to UFC talent working for WWE. If they choose to no longer fight anymore, he cites Ronda and Brock Lesnar as examples prior the Endeavor deal in which UFC was supportive talent work WWE. Dana White also believes that Ari Emanuel is going to be a massive win for WWE in regards to making big deals, sponsorships, and more. Dana says that he supports the deal. Nothing will change for the UFC. So he doesn't mind if any of the talent in the UFC decides to wrestle. So we'll see if there's any who are interested. But we'll go from there. Uh, Finally, for our upcoming Mayhem For All for Wrestling Revolver on May 6th, uh, El Fantasma will be making his debut. He'll be in a four-way match against Gringo Loco, Rich Swann, and Jake the Chris. However, he's not the only person who will be making his debut. So is, of course, David Finlay, where he teams up with Ace Austin and Chris Bay to take on the Rascals, Myron Reed. Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. And then finally, Macklin, our current Revolver World Champion, will be defending his title against Mike Bailey. That's going to be a killer match to watch. And I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got AEW Dark Elevation. I'm still waiting for the Stardom World to be uploaded, just to let everybody know. But also, I yet to see the upcoming GCW Collective shows. I missed out on majority of them. I will catch up with those the entire week. Just a fair warning for everybody. I'm not sure how I'm going to be because Monday, which by the time this video is uploaded, it will be Monday. My body will be sore. I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch a whole lot of wrestling, but we'll see how that goes. But for now, we'll just leave it as that. I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day.